The starship Harmony glided silently through the void, its sleek silver hull reflecting the distant stars. Admiral Dak stood on the command deck, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence as he studied the viewscreen. The unknown vessel had appeared, at the edge of Confederation space 3 days ago, moving with purpose toward their central systems. "Any response to our hails?" Admiral Dak asked, his translator converting his native clicks and whistles into the common language of the Confederation. "Officer." Mino shook his head. "Nothing yet, Admiral, but their course remains steady. They don't appear to be taking evasive action." The Galactic Confederation had maintained peace for over 2,000 cycles. Made up of 7 advanced species, they had long ago put aside warfare in favor of scientific and cultural exchange. Their last military conflict was so distant that it existed mainly in historical archives. "Magnify the image," ordered Dak. The screen shifted, bringing the mysterious craft into clearer view. It was unlike any ship in their database, compact and utilitarian where Confederation vessels were elegant, with unusual protrusions that might be sensors or perhaps weapons. "It's slowing," reported Tactical Officer Jiwoo. "They're dropping out of faster-than-light travel." The bridge crew tensed, as the unknown vessel came to a relative stop just beyond the range of their defense grid. A moment later, their communications array chimed. "They're hailing us," said Communications Specialist Subin, surprise evident in her voice. "Open the channel," Dak ordered, straightening his ceremonial robes. The view screen flickered, and for the first time, the Confederation made visual contact with humans. The alien standing before them appeared surprisingly familiar, bipedal with 2 arms and 1 head. Its skin was a pale tan color, with dark hair atop its head. The being wore a simple dark uniform with minimal markings. "Greetings," said the human in clear, accented Confederation standard. "I am Captain June of the Earth exploration vessel Pathfinder. We come in peace and friendship." Admiral Dak recovered quickly from his surprise. "I am Admiral Dak of the Galactic Confederation. Your ability to speak our language is unexpected." Captain June smiled, a gesture that showed teeth but somehow didn't seem threatening. "We've been monitoring your communications for some time before approaching. Our linguistic computers are quite efficient." Science Officer Minji whispered to Dak, "Their technology must be more advanced than we thought." "We are travelers and traders," continued June. "We seek permission to establish trade routes through your territory. We offer technology, resources, and cultural exchange." The diplomatic dance began in earnest. Over the next 6 hours, basic information was exchanged. The humans claimed to come from a planet called Earth, in a system they had recently left due to overcrowding. They spoke of peaceful intentions but were vague about their military capabilities. "Your ship is unusual in design," noted Dak cautiously. "Some of my officers have expressed concern about certain features that appear to be weapon mounts." June nodded. "We come from a region of space with various dangers. Self-defense is necessary, but I assure you, we have no hostile intentions." As the talks progressed, a junior officer approached Admiral Dak with a datapad. "Sir, long-range sensors have detected something large approaching from the direction the humans came from." Dak looked up sharply. "Captain June, are you expecting company?" The human's expression remained calm. "Yes, Admiral. When first contact with a new civilization goes well, it is our protocol to bring in additional representatives." A small smile touched his lips. "Our diplomatic escort is arriving." Moments later, the sensor operator gasped. "Sir, the object is emerging from faster than light now." The view screen automatically shifted to show the new arrival, and every alien on the bridge fell silent in shock. Where the Pathfinder had been modest in size, this new vessel was enormous, dwarfing even the largest Confederation ships. Its dark hull absorbed rather than reflected light, making it appear like a moving shadow against the stars. Multiple tiers of what were unmistakably weapon systems lined its surface, and massive engine arrays pulsed with barely contained energy. "Admiral," said Captain June quietly, "may I present the HMS Indomitable, flagship of the Human Defense Fleet. She's here to ensure our talks continue." peacefully. The massive human battleship hung in space like a dark mountain against the stars. The HMS Indomitable dwarfed the Confederation diplomatic vessel Harmony by at least 30 times. Its hull was matte black, absorbing rather than reflecting light, making it seem like a void cut into space itself. On the Harmony's bridge, the aliens stared in stunned silence at their view screens. Science Officer Minji's hands trembled slightly as she adjusted her scanners. "The energy readings are incredible," she whispered. "Their power core output exceeds our largest planetary generators." Admiral Dak recovered his composure first. "Captain June, when you spoke of a diplomatic escort, this is not what we expected." On the communication screen, the human captain's expression remained neutral. "The Indomitable is a standard protection vessel for first contact scenarios. We've encountered less welcoming species in our explorations." Commander Taiho, the Harmony's tactical officer, couldn't tear his eyes from the display showing the human battleship's specs. "Admiral, their weapon systems are unlike anything in our database. I count at least 60 major hardpoints, and those are just the ones we can identify. Is such firepower necessary for a peaceful mission?" Admiral Dak asked Captain June directly. "We hope it's unnecessary," June replied. "In our experience, visible strength often prevents conflicts before they begin." Minji continued her analysis, growing more confused by the moment. "Their technology is contradictory. Some systems appear almost primitive, using physical projectiles and chemical propellants, while others are beyond our theoretical understanding." A second communication request chimed through the system. Admiral Dak hesitated briefly before accepting. The screen split to reveal a second human, older than Captain June, with silver hair and a weathered face covered in small scars. He wore a dark uniform with more decorations than June's. "Admiral Dak, I am Fleet Commander Sunho of the HMS Indomitable. Captain June speaks for Earth in diplomatic matters, but I command our military presence in this sector." Dak nodded stiffly. "Commander, your vessel is impressive." "Thank you. The Indomitable is actually mid-sized by our fleet standards," Commander Sunho said matter-of-factly. "She serves primarily as a deterrent and protective escort." A ripple of alarm passed through the Harmony's bridge crew. If this behemoth was merely mid-sized, what did their larger vessels look like? "Commander?" ventured Science Officer Minji, her curiosity overcoming her apprehension. "Our scans show your hull is nearly 15 meters thick in places. Surely that creates inefficiencies in your propulsion systems." Commander Sunho smiled slightly. "We value survivability. Our ships are built to take hits and keep fighting." "Take hits?" echoed Taiho. "Confederation doctrine focuses on avoiding damage entirely." "A sound strategy when it works," nodded Sunho. "But humans prepare for when it doesn't." Admiral Dak signaled for a private conference with his officers, temporarily muting the communication. "Their design philosophy is completely alien to our understanding," said Elder Counselor Hyun, who had been silently observing. "While we evolved beyond warfare, focusing on defense through diplomacy, these humans appear to have developed along a different path entirely." "Should we be concerned?" asked Commander Taiho. "They've shown no aggression," replied Dak, "but their capabilities are unsettling." Minji shared her preliminary findings. "Their ship design suggests a species familiar with conflict. These aren't theoretical weapons systems. They show signs of practical refinement through actual use." When communications resumed, Admiral Dak maintained his diplomatic tone. "Commander Sunho, Captain June, the Confederation welcomes peaceful exchange. However, I must report your vessel's capabilities to the Council. Its presence in our space may cause concern." "We understand," replied Captain June. "We're open to restrictions on our military vessels in your territory as part of any agreement. Trust must be earned." As the discussions continued, a priority message arrived from Confederation Central Command. Intelligence reports had identified 7 more human vessels on the edges of their space, observing from a distance. Admiral Dak realized that first contact had just become far more complicated than anyone had anticipated. The peaceful Confederation had never expected to encounter a species so clearly prepared for war, yet so apparently interested in peace. The question, mused Elder Hyun privately to Admiral Dak, is whether they built such ships because they faced terrible enemies, or whether they themselves are the terrible enemy that others fear. The fragile peace between the Confederation and the newly arrived humans faced its first serious test 3 days after the appearance of the HMS Indomitable. A small human merchant vessel, the Dayfarer, had been granted temporary trading rights in the outer systems while diplomatic talks continued. War Master Krell of the Vrax hegemony watched the tiny human ship from the bridge of his command vessel, the Fist of Righteousness. The Vrax had never fully accepted the Confederation's peaceful ways. As a minor faction within the Alliance, they maintained a larger military than the other species, claiming it necessary for security operations. That ship is barely armed, Krell noted, his scaled skin reflecting the red emergency lights he had ordered activated. The humans won't risk their precious diplomatic progress over such an insignificant vessel. His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Vaz, looked uncertain. The reports about their battleship are concerning. Perhaps we should consult with Central Command before proceeding. Krell made a dismissive gesture with his clawed hand. The reports are exaggerated. No ship could possess the capabilities described. This is our chance to assess these newcomers directly. He turned to his weapons officer. Disable their engines only. I want to inspect their cargo for prohibited materials. On the Confederation Monitoring Station Outpost 7, Lieutenant Sunwoo was the first to notice the energy spike from the Vrax vessels. Sir, 3 Vrax ships have powered weapons and are moving to intercept the human merchant vessel, he called. Out urgently. Station Commander Soman rushed to the console. Open a channel to the Vrax immediately and alert Confederation Command. But before either action could be completed, the sensors registered weapons fire. The Vrax had launched a precise strike, disabling the human ship's main propulsion system without destroying the vessel. The humans are sending a distress call, reported Communications Officer Hana. It's directed to the Indomitable. Commander Soman felt a chill. How far away is the human battleship? At least 2 hours at maximum speed, answered Lieutenant Sunwoo. The merchant vessel will be boarded long before. An alarm blared, cutting him off. The sensor array was detecting a massive energy signature. Impossible, whispered Sunwoo, checking his readings. The Indomitable just appeared in the sector. It's like they teleported. On the bridge of the HMS Indomitable, Commander, Sunho stood calmly as his crew executed their duties with practiced precision. Phase jump successful, sir, reported Navigation Officer Jiu. We're within range of the Vrax vessels. Tactical assessment, ordered Sunho. 3 Vrax military ships surrounding our merchant vessel. Their weapons are hot and boarding shuttles have been launched, answered Tactical Officer Minho. The Dayfarer reports no casualties, but their engines are disabled. Commander Sunho nodded. Deploy countermeasures, non-lethal protocols only. What happened next would be discussed in Confederation tactical academies for generations. The Indomitable moved with a speed that seemed impossible for a vessel of its size. Its point defense systems activated, firing precision bursts that disabled the Vrax boarding shuttles without destroying them. Simultaneously, focused electromagnetic pulses temporarily disrupted the weapon systems of all 3 Vrax warships. Within 90 seconds, the situation had been completely reversed. The Vrax vessels hung powerless in space while the Indomitable's smaller craft moved to secure the area. The human response was, "Perfect," Lieutenant Sunwoo told his commander back at Outpost 7. They neutralized the threat without causing a single casualty. The precision required for such an operation is beyond our capabilities. On his flagship, now operating on emergency power, War Master Krell seethed with rage and fear. They could have destroyed us. Why didn't they? His communications officer handed him a message from the Indomitable. It read simply, "Your vessels will regain full power in 30 minutes. The Confederation has been informed of this incident. We expect a formal apology and reparations for our damaged vessel." Krell crumpled the message. They humiliated us deliberately. He turned to his second-in-command. "Prepare the fleet. The humans must learn the consequences of this insult. As reports of the incident spread throughout the Confederation, many species began to wonder if the humans' military capabilities might be exactly what the peaceful alliance had been missing all these years. Word had spread throughout the Confederation about the incident between the humans and the Vraks. While the Confederation Council called for calm and negotiation, War Master Krell mobilized the entire Varax battle fleet. 67 warships gathered at their home system's edge. On the Confederation monitoring station, Lieutenant Sunwoo watched the tactical display with growing concern. The Vraks are deploying in attack formation, he reported to Admiral Dak, who had arrived to personally oversee the crisis. And the humans? Dak asked quietly. The Indomitable remains at the trading post, but 3 more human vessels have arrived in the sector. The view screen showed these new arrivals. Each was slightly smaller than the Indomitable but clearly built, with the same philosophy, massive and heavily armed. According to their transponders, they were the HMS Horizon, the HMS Dauntless, and the HMS Bulwark. They're taking positions around the trading post, noted Tactical Officer Kiwoo. Defensive. Formation. Admiral Dak studied the display. Have they made any demands or threats? None, sir. Captain June has only requested that we evacuate all Confederation citizens from the area as a precaution. On the bridge of his flagship, War Master Krell addressed his fleet commanders. The humans have 4 ships. We have 67. Their quick victory over our patrol was merely luck and surprise. He bared his sharp teeth in what passed for a smile among the Vraks. Today we will see what these humans are truly capable of. The Vraks fleet moved as one, accelerating toward the human position. Across Confederation space, beings watched the confrontation through relay feeds, breath held in anticipation. When the Vraks fleet was 30 minutes from weapon range, the human ships began to move. Instead of holding position or retreating, they advanced, 4 vessels against 67. What are they doing? Whispered Lieutenant Sunwoo. It's suicide. Then something unexpected happened. The human ships separated, each taking a different vector. The horizon accelerated to incredible speed, circling wide around the Vraks formation. The Bulwark moved directly toward the center of the enemy fleet. The Dauntless climbed above the plane of engagement, while the Indomitable dropped below. They're surrounding the Vraks, realized Admiral Dak. But how can 4 ships surround 67? They soon had their answer. As the Vraks opened fire, the human vessels responded with weaponry that defied understanding. The horizon emitted energy pulses that disrupted the Vraks' communication systems. The Dauntless fired precision strikes from extreme range, disabling the engines of key Vraks' command ships. The Bulwark activated shield systems that somehow reflected energy weapons back toward their sources, and the Indomitable demonstrated why it deserved its name. Taking the brunt of the Vraks' assault, its massive hull absorbed hit after hit while its point defense systems shot down incoming missiles with perfect accuracy. Impossible, muttered Tactical Officer Kiwoo as he analyzed the battle. The Indomitable has taken damage that would destroy any of our ships 3 times over, yet all systems remain operational. Engineer Nari, who had been studying human technology, spoke up. Their hull design includes sacrificial layers. They expect to be hit and plan for it. Where we build ships to avoid damage, they build to endure it. Within 40 minutes, half the Vraks fleet was disabled, not destroyed, but unable to fight. The remaining ships continued their assault, but with diminishing effect. On his flagship, War Master Krell watched in horror as his carefully planned attack fell apart. Concentrate all fire on the Indomitable, he commanded desperately. It cannot withstand our combined firepower. But it did. As the remaining Vraks ships focused their attack, the Indomitable advanced through the barrage, weapons systematically targeting propulsion and weapon systems while avoiding life support. When the human vessel finally reached Krell's flagship, 17 Virax ships remained operational. The Indomitable's communications officer transmitted a simple message. Surrender your vessels or be disabled. You have 2 minutes to comply. Krell, rage overcoming reason, ordered his remaining ships to fight to destruction. But his crew, having witnessed the humans' overwhelming yet restrained power, refused the command. The battle ended not with destruction, but with submission. Not a single vessel on either side had been destroyed, though many were severely damaged. No lives had been lost. As news of the outcome spread, the Confederation faced a new reality. Humans were not just powerful. They were powerful in a way no one had imagined possible. The Confederation Council chamber buzzed with tension. Representatives from all 7 member species had gathered for an emergency summit following the battle between the humans and the Vraks. At the center of the chamber stood a holographic display showing detailed images of the human battleships. Xenobiologist Yunha approached the podium, her voice calm but filled with wonder. After analyzing the data from the confrontation, we've reached some remarkable conclusions about our new neighbors. The chamber fell silent as Yunha continued. Humans evolved on a planet they call Earth. Unlike our homeworlds, Earth was filled with predators and natural disasters. Where our species developed in environments that rewarded cooperation and peaceful coexistence, humans faced constant survival challenges. She gestured to an image of Earth, showing its varied and often hostile environments. This shaped not just their biology, but their entire approach to technology. Their vessels aren't designed the way they are because humans love war. They're designed that way because humans never had the luxury of assuming peace was the natural state of existence. Admiral Dak spoke next. Their restraint during the Vraks conflict was perhaps more impressive than their power. They could have destroyed the entire fleet, yet they chose the more difficult path of disabling vessels while preserving lives. In a smaller meeting room nearby, Captain June and Commander Sunho sat with the Confederation leadership. The mood was solemn but no longer fearful. "Your ships are built to take damage," said Engineer Nari, unable to hide her professional admiration. "Our entire design philosophy assumes perfect defense is possible. You assume it isn't, Commander." Sunho nodded. "In our history, perfect defense has never existed. Something always gets through, so we build redundancy into everything. But such an approach requires enormous resources," noted economic advisor Minsu. "Yes," agreed Captain June, "which is why we seek trade and cooperation rather than conflict. War is inefficient, peace is profitable, but peace must be protected." Elder Counselor Hyun, oldest of the Confederation representatives, leaned forward. "We have maintained peace for 2,000 cycles, without significant military power. How? Do you explain this?" "You were fortunate," replied Commander Sunho simply. "You never encountered a truly aggressive species until the Vraks faction emerged, and even they were relatively restrained compared to some we've encountered." The human ambassador, Jihoon, who had arrived on the horizon, joined the conversation. "Our philosophy isn't that war is inevitable, but that peace is precious and worth defending. We build battleships while praying we never need to use them." Over the following days, a new understanding developed. The humans opened their vessels for inspection, sharing non-critical technologies and explaining their approach to defense. In return, the Confederation offered advances in medicine, environmental science, and cultural exchange. On the observation deck of the HMS Indomitable, Admiral Dak stood beside Captain June, watching as teams of human and Confederation engineers worked together on a joint project. "Your engineer Nari has some fascinating ideas about improving our shield harmonics," noted June. "And your power distribution systems are remarkably efficient. While your structural engineering and materials science are beyond our current understanding," admitted Dak. "It seems we have much to learn from each other." Below them, human crew members guided Confederation scientists through the vessel that had so recently terrified them. The massive ship no longer seemed a symbol of aggression, but rather a testament to human determination and ingenuity. "Do you think our peoples can truly work together?" asked Dak. "Our approaches to the universe are so different." Captain June smiled, watching as a human technician helped a young Confederation engineer understand the battleship's damage control systems. "I think our differences may become our greatest strength," he replied. "You teach us how to build better peace. We teach you how to defend it more effectively. Together, we create something neither of us could achieve alone. As the two leaders watched, a new future began to take shape. One where the humans' hard-earned wisdom about survival complemented the Confederation's long experience with harmonious cooperation. The galaxy would never be the same, but perhaps it would be better.